she's been an attorney for a long time, so.
We'll wait for Elise to, it's more cattywampus. Let's start this meeting for December 8th, 2020. Hopefully our last meeting of this not so wonderful year. Some good things have happened. And we'll start with the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sal?
Father God, thank you for entrusting us with your town and for keeping us safe this year, 2020, putting a hedge of protection around us. I ask that you give us wisdom and discernment to make decisions for the best of our citizens here in Oakland. May we honor you in everything we say this evening. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, roll call. Roll call. Mr. McMullen.
President.
Mr. Poland.
Here.
Commissioner Ramos.
President.
Vice Mayor Satterfield.
Present.
Mayor Stirk. Here. Have a quorum. Great. Do we have any ex parte communication?
No, ma'am.
I keep saying we're going to talk about that, but we haven't gotten to it yet. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak on a subject that is not already on the agenda? I know Oakland Park is on the agenda, so if we have anybody virtually, do we have any comments? So Alicia.
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
Thank you. All right, consent agenda. Do you have any questions about the consent agenda, or are we ready to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions or comments virtually or in person? Okay,
Mayor, I see no hands raised.
thanks, Alicia. All in favor? Aye. Hang on. I thought I was going to sneeze. We're going to move on to other policy matters, discussion of future resident guest attendance via virtual platform.
All right, I just wanted to bring this up again, since we're getting to the end of the year, and we do have to do in-person meetings for the commission. So the question is, do we want to, I'd like to get it to some point where we broadcast the meetings. I worry a little bit about the interactivity with the electronic means, doing it by Zoom. Because if we have a land use issue and we have 100 people on Zoom, it's going to be hard to manage. I do have concerns about the manageability of doing it the way we're doing, but because of the spike that we're having right now and because of the way things are going, I just wanted to find out from the commission, do you want to continue to do the meetings as we're doing, having in-person commission, and then allowing the Zoom to continue as we've been doing it? Because this has got that interactivity where you're having to check, for comments online as well as. So I just wanted to put that out there and get some feedback. We have the first meeting in January. We need to go ahead and advertise some things. So it will be a Zoom meeting like this, a hybrid meeting, I guess would be the best way to call it. But do we want to continue to do this for the next couple months? Maybe revisit it in February, March, see where things are? Or do we want to go to something where we're just broadcasting and we don't have the interactivity on Zoom?
I'll let you guys go first.
What is Winter Garden doing? Coy, do you know?
I have no idea.
I know Coy has TV.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they live stream, right?
Yeah, they like.
But does that mean that you may comment?
They interact on people.
No.
That's I've seen people.
And honestly, I think that's the best way to do it is to live stream it, as long as you can do all the accessibility that you need to. But because of the situation we have now with the spike and everything, you still want to be able to have that interactivity and for people to, we still have commissioners that occasionally will be on the Zoom. So really, I just, need to kind of get a feel for what you think we should do as far as moving forward.
I'd like to see us keep it the way we're doing right now, just so we do have accessibility to other people to join in virtually.
Well, at some point, if we're broadcasting it, anybody can watch it. They just won't be able to interact. And eventually, I think that would probably be the best.
When you say broadcast, you're talking about broadcasting live or taped or the,
Either or, whatever. We're a little technologically deficient at this point. We'll have to figure out the best medium and way to do it. But essentially, we could broadcast it live and then record it at the same time so that it's available online. Or we could just tape it and make it available, but we would allow people to be able to see what's going on in meetings. The interactivity part is the part that I think could be problematic in the future. We've had to deal with it based off of the COVID, but I don't think it's manageable in the long run.
Anybody else? My opinion is, I know that it's probably not manageable in the long run, but I love that fact that people can I call it dial in, but
join.
hook on from home, join from home and be able to make comment. I understand that if it could be very unmanageable if it's a large meeting with lots of comments. But for now, I think for now, I'd like to continue until we get through this coronavirus thing to a, manageable point. And then I'd love for staff to come back with, with a recommendation at a minimum, a broadcast. I'm being told that Winter Garden broadcasts voice only, and it's not very good. So,
It's kind of all over the place. I know Claremont has you can't watch it. You can't do anything.
oh, yeah.
And Ocoee, Orange County has, Orange TV. So, there's.
But they don't take comment. Yeah.
Orange County was, I don't know if they're.
They used to. Well, regardless, we need to, I think, figure ours out. And I'm with the mayor that until we can get a handle with the COVID, let's continue to Zoom to give the people opportunity to chime in without having to actually be here. And maybe once this vaccine gets going and whatever slows us down between now and then, if you guys start looking for some way for us to stream it or broadcast it, that would be very cool.
And we've made some other, things where, you can send in your comments to Elise and we'll read them into the record. So we've tried to make some other accommodations for people, and we can continue to do that even when we move past the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, but the thing is, an interactive, especially if it's a tough subject, you don't think of things you want to say or questions that you have or suggestions until that conversation gets going. I do think it's always good to look at best practices and, when we think about what we want to do, but I think for now, let's leave it as is and let's come back with a recommendation. I don't want it to be so hard on anybody that it's not becomes unwieldy.
Well, we are different from the rest because our place is smaller.
Right.
So whoever has a bigger place could get away with social distancing and bringing the crowd separate. But right here, we just cannot do that.
Well, but, and like I said, I think in the long run, depending on, as things come up on the commercial corridor, there's going to be some much bigger meetings.
Mhm.
And I think having 100 people tuned in and all wanting to do comments off of there, it would be very difficult.
That'd be very difficult to manage.
But I think in the short term, let's say the first quarter of the calendar year, January, February, March, we'll just kind of move forward with what we're doing and look for a way to be able to broadcast it
Very good.
as we're doing it. And at the same time, we'll be watching what happens with the COVID, and hopefully things will start to taper off and it'll be a better time to make the change.
I agree for the first quarter.
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't want to go back to the way we had it where people were just jamming out of the doors at
Oh, yeah.
town hall back a few years ago.
So it looks like Windermere is doing a hybrid, but they're only streaming via Zoom. So it doesn't look like,
I think we have some, yeah, I think we have some time to take a deeper dive and have staff come back with a recommendation after we get through Corona.
Becky, did you want to?
We can do it.
Becky has something. to say.
Yes, yes. I just wanted to mention that in Anna Maria, I attend their meetings by Zoom, and their commission chambers is probably a little smaller than the room that you're in right now. And they've been doing everything by Zoom. They have had some controversial things, and they've figured out a way to get people to say when they want to talk. You know, I mean, if you have a big
Raise your hand.
quasi judicial meeting, you know, people sign up, and it is possible to sign up on a Zoom meeting and get the names. So that when people are, you know, when it's time for public comment in a way that's very similar to when everybody is jammed in the meeting hall, you say, now it's time for Mr. Smith to talk, and they will unmute and they will talk. And then, you know, when they're done, they'll be muted, and now it's time for Mr. Wilson to talk, you know, and it does go well. I don't know that it's any more unmanageable than having people standing outside the doors and stuff. It's, you know, however you do a meeting with 100 people, it's problematic, but it is doable on Zoom. And one of the nice things, I don't know if you think it's nice, but if you give people 3 minutes, you can actually cut them off after the 3 minutes. You can mute them. Which is a little problematic if they're standing up there insisting, which I've frankly never
I can
seen.
do it.
And I,
Kathy
You
can
know,
take it for us.
But I don't want to, I want to get through this and really consider our options.
Okay.
Because I do like the fact that we, you know, every answer we have to people who say, how come I didn't know this was happening, was you need to come to a meeting. Well, this makes it easy for people to come to meetings.
Or you bring the meeting to them.
So anyway, I think you have your answer.
Okay.
Do you consensus good?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I just want a little discussion, make sure, you know, if we continue doing it this way, that, you know, everybody's.
Okay. So we're going to move on to appointment of new board and commission members, and I'm very excited about the process, so you guys take it away.
Yeah, so you have the memo in front of you explaining the process that we chose and our recommended candidates for the positions
I don't have it,
and the terms. So,
but I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's not out.
yeah, it's in the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to see if you had any questions or if you were good with appointing the individuals as presented.
I think your process was wonderful.
I think it was great.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did this time, which is very different than what we've done in the
Sure. So we had a committee on the SAC side that was Principal Dwyer, myself, and Scott Fontenot, who's a SAC member. That was our committee on that side. On the PNZ and ARB side, it was Shane Taylor, who's the planning and zoning chair, myself, and Jay Martyr. And so we interviewed every individual, and then Pam came up with a really nice rubric scoring sheet that we used for SAC, and then I modified that for planning and zoning and ARB to meet the criteria that we were looking for. And so then we went through and we scored them and asked them questions. And then at the end, we sat down and said, you know, these are our top 2-3 candidates and where we'd like to see them. And that's what's presented to you.
And was that face-to-face or was it?
All via Zoom. So yeah, that made it a little more difficult just as far as scheduling, but once we got them all scheduled, it worked pretty well.
So can you read I know it's, I know, but go ahead and read them out because we've got some people virtually joining us.
And so there were also when I assigned terms based on our bylaws or our zoning code as appropriate for the positions. And then at some point, we'll come back and revisit our current memberships and need to reappoint those ones as well. But right now, we'll just go with the new ones. And so for SAC, they have 3-year terms or until they no longer have students attending OACS because these are all parent representatives. So our recommendations were Laura Campisi, Carol Ann Dooley, and Kathy Memolo, and their terms would be January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2023. For SAC, for planning and zoning, they are also 3-year terms. We have 1 regular position there, and Michael Napnick is who's currently on ARB is being recommended for that position. And then we have 2 alternate positions, and we're recommending for first alternate position, Blaine Dooley, and second alternate position, Tim Watts. For ARB, we're recommending those are 2-year terms, regular position, Jason Sims, and a regular position, Raul Loya. And then the first alternate position, Tamara Christensen.
Excellent. And that's more interest than we usually get. So very happy about that.
Yeah, and we had, I want to say we did 5 for, was that right, Pam? 5 interviews for SAC?
Yes.
She's saying yes.
Yeah, and then we had 7 total interviews for planning and zoning ARB, and so we were able to put everybody on except for one person who didn't want to be on ARB. He only wanted planning and zoning, and there wasn't enough positions. So basically, we were able to fill almost all of them. We still have 1 alternate for ARB, but we'll just keep that open. And then if somebody's interested in the future, that's where they can slide on in.
What's the reasoning for the 2-year versus 3-year on ARB and P and Z?
It's spelled out in the zoning code.
And we need a vote on this?
We need to approve the appointment of those individuals for,
I'll make the motion to approve the appointment of the new board and as stated by Elise.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions, any comments here in the audience or virtually?
Mayor, I see no hands.
Thank you. Again, kudos for the process and well thought out. And we do also have solid waste positions for a temporary board to make recommendations for our next
right.
contract.
and we extended that one. We only had 1 interest as of the first deadline. So we've extended it till the end of December. So if you know anyone, send them our way. We now have 2 applicants. So we'd like to get some more.
And there's no conflict. If somebody's that's one on these boards wants to be on the solid waste, they can do that also. There's no conflict because they're 2 totally
Separate things. Okay. All right. So if we have no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So moving on to, oops, my computer.
Elise,
Yeah,
can you allow me to share?
Go ahead, Jay. Oh, we're on Oakland Park development updates.
Okay,
We're not on you yet.
okay, that's fine.
okay. All right, Oakland Park development updates.
All right, so actually the next 2 items are both Oakland Park. So
Okay.
first, we're going to have Deborah Drummond Uskowitz here to give you just a short update on Oakland Park and answer any questions anybody might have. And then Jay's going to get into the actual presentation on the plat approval.
Okay.
Thank you for having me, Mayor, Commissioner, and staff. Thank you. Deborah Draven, sometimes Deborah Uskowitz, depends on what's easier to pronounce. I go by both. So I am the general manager for Landover and Oakland Park. So just a brief update. About this time last year, we were approving what is called 6A and what we now call the area Lakeview, but those are the 38 residential units that are the homes are actually under construction right now. All of Oakland, I guess I should move back just a little bit on the Oakland side. This is the boundary between all of Oakland Park, City of Winter Garden, and Town of Oakland. So we have entitled, that's on the cheat sheet here, 295 units, but the build out for this side of Oakland Park will be approximately 270 residential units, so slightly under the entitled units. We are under construction, and what Dave Smarter will be presenting today for our plat is we're under construction for 44 residential units in what is called 6B1. And then we will be moving south and actually starting hopefully grading soon of these two ponds and finishing out this neighborhood, and then moving west into what we call phase 7. The timing of that is we hope that, well, we have plat today, hopefully, and then all of the lots should be complete by the end of the year and approved, and homes hopefully starting sometime early next year. And then delivering kind of the middle phase of the Lakeview and the Hammock Preserve in the second quarter of next year. And then coming in here and delivering here in the first quarter of 2022. So if everything goes well, all the residential lots will be built out by first quarter of 2022. And then Oakland Park will continue to build out homes over the next 2 or 3 years following that. If it hasn't closed already, we will have the first home in Lakeview in 6A, should be closing very soon. So you'll have your first Oakland Park, Town of Oakland resident. So we're very excited about that. I think, as you know, most of all of the amenities are complete in Oakland Park. However, we will be coming in with the trails along Lake Apopka. There'll be some pavilions, some sitting areas, a lot of different parks. And I think that's about it. Was there anything specific that anybody had any questions on?
First thing, we do have our first resident. They got their CO on November 3rd.
Wow.
Second CO was, and Jay's got this in his presentation, the second CO was delivered last week. There's 2 more coming. So we do have our first residents over there.
And we figured out how to bill them.
Yeah, staff's on top of that, both public safety services, utilities, all of that. Everybody's been working on making sure that we've got all that covered. So.
Good. Good.
I guess the only other thing, Mr. Kuntz, is that as part of our obligations under Oakland Park and our entitlements is that we, I think everybody knows we recently finished the signal on Oakland Avenue. But we also have an obligation to improve what is now called Catherine Ross Road, which is formerly known as Monomassac. And we have started some of the preliminary survey, geotechnical work, and traffic studies so that we can progress that plan and hopefully get that under construction sometime next year as well. So
Yeah, we've spent,
staff to do that.
there's a few people have spent time pointing out that the traffic signal that's up on Oakland Avenue is in Winter Garden, not in Oakland. But what we would like to do, and I talked to Steve about this, and I know the commission probably feels the same way, is for you guys to work very closely regarding how this looks and feels, and that it blends into the town in a very nice way. And if the town has to, you come to some kind of agreement over and above what's the base model, we need to do that.
Yeah, we're having some conversations with them, making sure that both Catherine Ross and they're also starting to look at Star Street. They walked it a couple weeks ago. So we're talking about the paving of Star Street, which I know is kind of a sore point with some people. But we want to make sure that it blends in, it has the look and feel, and it has that sense of community. And we also think about the safety concerns on that road also. So
traffic calming.
Very concerned, and then they'll do what they have agreed to, and then we'll add to that as we see fit, through the commission.
Yeah, because we've gotten lots of feedback about that traffic light.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, Oakland Avenue is a scenic byway or some highway, and it probably should have been a little bit, more planning with Winter Garden with the scenic highway people.
Yeah, it went lots of directions and that wasn't necessarily, that was not our original design, but that was what was mandated.
Where's the light right here?
The light is right here.
And those lots are commercial?
Yeah, there's 3 commercial lots. You know where it is, Mike. So just obviously on the south side of Oakland Avenue. And all 3 sites have been sold, although we have not seen some of the preliminary design yet, but it is in the works. They're talking about doing some type of a combination, small restaurant, retail shops here, maybe a boutique type fitness center here, and then I'm not sure what I haven't seen anything here yet, but all within the scale of what you would expect for Oakland Park.
Is that Oakland or Winter Garden?
It's Winter Garden.
Okay,
That's right on the line.
yeah.
Right here.
So the
Yeah, I just-
the lights where the X is right there. So that's where the light's at right there.
Yeah, we just get, so, like I said, lots of feedback, and I don't know how. I mean, I think I have to leave that with Steve to try and negotiate, or at least have those conversations with Winter Garden about, it sits right on our boundary, and it's on the scenic byway, and we can at least express our opinion.
As far as the light, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when this commercial goes into,
Yeah, more like conveying that to our citizens here in Oakland, that whatever does happen is not.
but we need, yes, and we also,
It has some input to
I
it.
would love to be able to influence it if
Yeah.
that's,
Well, and
still
I think, and just so that the city of Winter Garden also got a lot of feedback after those went up. And again, that was what they required us to put in. And so they did come back and ask that we do some decorative pedestrian poles, which we did. So the pedestrian poles that you now see at the intersection were all kind of a result of some of that citizen input from both sides of the boundary. And now the other thing that hopefully will be a positive and help kind of mitigate a lot of what, I think the complaint is on the concrete poles, right? Is we were approved by the city of Winter Garden on our landscape plans a couple weeks ago. So we'll be submitting for permits for landscaping and some of the hardscape that goes at that intersection. And that will greatly improve that overall appearance. And that what we're all used to seeing as far as coming into Oakland Park. So hopefully we'll be seeing a lot less dirt and a lot more of what you are used to and accustomed to.
it would be, and all I'm saying is it would be great for us to get in front of it rather than, get the comments once it goes up.
I think the concern was that there's a standard in the city of Winter Garden, and most of all of the, if not all of the streetlights were that style. And so it was difficult to have a different specification for that particular intersection, unfortunately.
And then I know we're going to talk about this and probably at the plat approval stage, that all the agreements that have been made with Oakland Park remain in place. Nothing is changing,
Yes.
even though there have been some things that have occurred that had to be remediated. And hopefully that we won't have to deal with that again either.
Correct.
It seems like you could have done a roundabout there very easily.
Well, I think it ended up being Winter Garden that made the
That's
decision.
their call.
It wasn't
Right.
Endeavor or Oakland Park. It was Winter Garden that made the decision on the light.
Yeah, I know that, but
And it's there now, so we move on, but maybe we can have some sort of input into what you.
Well, in that agreement that we had back a couple years ago when I first got here, it did call out a light in that agreement. So Winter Garden's been planning this for a number of years as far as that light.
So anyway, we learn, we move forward. But it'd be nice to get on the front end of it and at least, make sure that our input is, heard.
Question.
Yes.
By Catherine Ross, do you have like a targeted date when you're gonna?
I'm sorry, could you
On
say
Catherine Ross, do you have a targeted date when you're gonna start?
Depending on when we get all the studies back and the engineering done, I'm hoping to start it at the end of next year.
End of next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's required to be done by, I believe, January.
2023.
Yeah. But they are working ahead on that, so.
That was all.
Can we put in the meeting minutes, again, how to sign up for your newsletter where Oakland residents can get news of the progress?
You also doing stuff through the Oakland Park through the, I guess probably the HOA.
The HOA has, yeah, and actually I was just talking to the community manager today and I said, you haven't been asking me for any updates. And he said he will be asking me for updates in January, so.
That would be great if we could communicate. The more communication, the better.
I agree, that's great.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Jay's turn.
Okay, so we are moving on. We don't need a vote on that.
No, it was just an update,
So we're moving on to resolution 2020-12.
So, thank you. And we're talking about B1 here. So you basically saw all the units. And so this will be a little bit of review because Deborah stole some of my thunder and then Steve stole the rest of it. But I'm just kidding here. So we'll look at an overview and the status of 6A, which is under development, and then look at the future phases. And of course, this is land ever. It's 43 acres. As you heard, it's 44 lots. And so here again, you sort of see the two phases in Oakland with the part in Winter Garden over to the east. So you can see there's basically phase 6 or unit 6A with the 35 lots that are under development now, and 6B. And then you have some future development tracks that we'll look at a little bit more here. And you recall not too long ago in April, y'all were looking at that lakefront lot where we vacated some utility easements, and now you see it. You can see on the left, there's just starting, and then literally days later, they're just rolling along on that big house on the lake. Very nice home. And so it's really been an ongoing situation where this neighborhood is just becoming a real place. There's actually 4 certificate of occupancies that have been issued today. And so you can just see in the picture there, this is the 6B1 under construction. So there's a lot of activity there. And you see it again here a little bit. And so it's really rolling along. So I think you've kind of seen this, but you can see again where you've already approved the plat and it's houses are being sold, people are moving in. Then 6B over here, which is 6B1, which is your subject tonight for approval. And then the 6B2 and 6B3. So there's the trail down there kind of on the southerly side of that project. So it's been mentioned, there's a lot of coordination going on with the water, sewer, streets, some of which is under construction. Performance bond is being put together. The project coordination on the transparency of the utilities that was mentioned, as Steve mentioned, and the permitting, sewer permitting with Winter Garden. Also, I would mention, and this was actually mentioned back in 2019, but you're going to see it next month. There will be a development agreement amendment to, it says a small increase in home sizes, and that's true, but it'll basically give them some requested flexibility. So it could even be a little bit smaller, but not much. Mostly it would be for larger houses. And if you want to ask Deborah about that, I mean, you're gonna discuss that thoroughly next week. So that's up to you. So anyhow, that just concludes the presentation to recommending adoption of 2020-12, the resolution to approve Phase 6B-1.
Great. Do we have any questions?
You need to read the title of this, Elise.
And it's resolution 2020-12, a resolution of the town of Oakland, Florida, making findings approving a final plat of Oakland Park Unit 6B1 and providing an effective date.
I'd like to make a quick comment. So Jay's got the good slide up there right there. So you see 6B2 and 6B3, and 6B3 is right there along the West Orange Trail. Just so you know, that is where there's an eagle's nest located close to that. And Land Ever's done a great job with protecting, making sure there's barriers up during nesting season, which started.
Just a little bit before October.
Yeah, and so they've got barriers up and there's no construction going on within that 330 feet. I know I've seen a little bit on Facebook about that, but they are doing everything that they're required to do to protect that eagle's nest. And there's also right along that 6B3 is where they'll be doing some mitigation in the landscaping and the buffer along the trail.
Is that the area where they brought down too much?
Yes, yes, sir. So they've got a planting plan. I don't know if they've started it yet, but they've gotten it, got to get it approved through Orange County because that's actually Orange County easement there. So they're working with Orange County and they do have a replanting plan and they'll mitigate that area. But I just wanted to make sure that it was on the record that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that 6B3, when it's under construction, will be based off of the eagle nesting season. So they'll be working within those parameters.
Familiar with that? We're familiar with.
Yes, we are familiar with that.
Eagle season.
Oh, yes, we are.
That's all I have. I just wanted to make sure I brought those 2 points up on the record.
Yes, and I do appreciate that because, you know, we want to make sure that this happens the way we said it was going to.
Yes.
All right. Any questions at the table? All right, I need a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2020-12.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any questions? I don't think we have any questions from the audience live. So any questions virtually?
Mayor, I don't see any hands going up.
Okay, thank you. This is a resolution, so I have asked for public comment. I think I'm good, right, Becky?
Yes, you've asked for public comment and that's all you need to do. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so I'll bring it back to the table. If there are no further questions, I'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Did I guess I
Made a motion, right?
he did make a motion, right?
He did the motion in a second.
Yeah, but, and y'all looked at me like I was
You
crazy.
didn't say all in favor.
Well, I said it differently. All in favor? Sorry, got a little sidetracked there.
That's funny.
All right.
I was the only aye for a minute.
Okay, so town manager, do you have anything extra to report?
I do have a little bit of a list.
A little bit of a list.
Yeah, and most of it's good though, so it's a good thing. Two quick things on the Orange County front. Orange County, we got notified on Friday that Orange County has increased school impact fees. They go into effect next year. Reason it's important is we collect them and it's a pass through for us. But they are, I don't have the ordinance with me and I'll send it to everybody, but they are going up significantly and they've got a tiered process now, but the school impact fees are going to be increasing. The other thing is.
We're going to have to make sure we're able to explain that though.
Yes, yes.
when they go into effect.
It's just gonna be in a total bill where it says our taxes went up.
Well, it's going to be on new homes, people coming in, but yeah, we'll work on that.
Do you know what the current fee is right now?
It's in, I'll send you the executive order. It's got a matrix that shows you the current fee and what it's going to.
Okay, yeah, I like to see
They're also
that.
changing things up to a tiered fee on the square footage of the house. So, but it is a significant increase. So I'll send the ordinance to everybody tomorrow, and so that you can look at it. I just wanted to bring it up. The other thing is the executive order with Mayor Demings and the finding of businesses. We haven't had any issues here in town. We don't have any restaurants or bars that might tip that. If we did have any issues, we would refer it to the task force that he's got, and not something that we would take on. So we're not in the process of going to look and do finding or anything through Oakland PD, but I just wanted to put that out there. That executive order is out there, and if we don't have any issues here in the town, so that I'm aware of. And then, so let me go through a couple other things. First thing, I want to give a report on the Santa's Lane event. We had 562 total gifts given. We had $2,250 in cash donations, $500 in gift card donations, and we did have a balance from last year's donations of about $2,500. Any of the remaining toys that were donated, or any of the remaining toys have been donated to the police department's toy drive. So we're making sure we're getting those toys out, anything that was left. We had a huge number of volunteers for the event. We had 17 Lakeside volunteers, 5 Boy Scouts, 8 Town Center volunteers, and then the town staff that worked at and then we also got news coverage on Fox 35, West 2, South Lake Tablet, West Orange Chamber website, and the West Orange Times. So I think it was a very successful event. It was good. It was steady. It was manageable for us. It was really a nice event, and saw a lot of good comments and a lot of great pictures of Santa Claus. So.
And this event was never intended to keep people from Oakland out. Even in the beginning at the Little White House, if you were biking down the trail, right, or drove by, you were included. And I'm very happy that we're able to make sure that we accommodate everybody who comes through. If it grows bigger, then we have to, think that through every year, how we do it.
Right.
Where were some of the pictures and publicized that?
There's some on Facebook. There's a little video that's on Facebook, and then the West Orange Times has some pictures on there also.
And I realize this really, it is now a staff-driven event, but it is really the heart of what we had started 20-some years ago. I can speak, I think, for all of us, that we really appreciate what staff puts into this event. So thank you all so very much.
They work,
Thank you.
and the volunteers.
And the volunteers.
Oh, yeah, the volunteers were great. I mean, I thought it.
Love the elves.
Oh, them elves.
Love them elves.
Love those elves up in the North Pole here. We're just keeping an eye on you.
Take notes.
And I have to give a shout out to staff with Alicia, Val, and Ashlyn. They did a great job putting this together, so.
It was excellent all the way around.
Santa Claus was pleased.
Good, glad to hear that. Second thing, real quick, so in our discussions with the Healthy West Orange, we have started to come into focus for an event for the new building at the end of January 30th. It would be a short event in the morning for the Healthy West Orange to coordinate a small VIP event for their trustees. And what we're thinking about doing is taking that and then bringing in all the other people in the afternoon. So starting out with Healthy West Orange in the morning and then doing something in the afternoon to get everybody that's been involved with the building in and through it in a safe way. So it's still.
Okay, is that?
It's a Saturday.
Is that a Saturday?
Yes, I believe it is. So put that on your calendar, or we'll get it on your calendar. And then, but that's kind of what we're looking at. They're also looking to do.
What date was that again?
January 30th. Also looking to do a video, put together a video that we can use. And then what the Healthy West Orange is looking is to turn this into an annual event, an annual health event that they would put on
Okay.
here at the center. So this would be kind of the kickoff. So it'll be a small event to start with, you know, as kind of an opening, and then would be something that we would do annually. But so we'll work through the details. Ashlyn and Alicia are working through that, working with Lisa and Jason.
Mike?
Hmm?
And Mike?
Yes, absolutely. In order to start putting this together. It's just all started coming together in the last couple of days. So this is, but I wanted to make sure I got it out so we could get it on calendars and start.
And if we, you know, if there's any feedback. Parker,
Yes, ma'am.
is the window done yet?
Just about.
When is, I hear that, those words out of your mouth a lot.
That's just about right, right?
We had contractors in, they made a template of it.
There you go.
Yep, and they're producing it right now.
Awesome. So,
Give it about 2 weeks.
okay,
We'll talk about it.
I know you just want me to leave you alone.
We'll talk about the concession stand, anybody?
Yeah, I can go ahead and bring that up real quick too. The concession stand, we did not get anybody that put in proposals for the concession stand.
There's someone who might be interested that I have given them your number.
Actually, I've got two now that might be interested, so I'll have some casual conversations to start with, and then we'll figure out some kind of a process for that.
Yeah.
As far as getting somebody into the concession stand.
I got a question before we move off the center.
Absolutely.
Is this gonna be like the official kickoff with the center?
I think we're kind of looking to make it that way. What we're looking at is letting them do their thing in the morning and then doing essentially a second grand opening for all other donors and stakeholders in the afternoon. So it's just kind of, like I said, starting that conversation. If you've got any input or anything, please call me and we can work through.
Yeah, but I really, this is really our center,
Yes.
and so I really want to caution us to watch, because, they talk a lot and they make a lot of plans for the center. And it's really the town center. It's not the West Orange or the Healthy West Orange Center. And this is ours. This belongs to the town. So I really caution us and making sure that we're not setting a precedent where it looks like they are driving the train. I mean, it's great that they gave a great donation, but it doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the town and the residents and all of us. It belongs to the town. So it's great that they want to do some great things there, but this was really put together, just like the Oakland school, the charter school, the school is for the town. This center, I really want this, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I take in a lot of what's going on with the center from Healthy West Orange, and it really, if I was someone on the outside looking in, I would think that this center belonged to them. I really would feel that way if I were to be someone on the outside just looking in, because they driving a lot. And it's like, well, what the Healthy West Orange is doing this, they doing that. The Amway sponsors the basketball center, but it doesn't belong to the Amway. It belongs to that city and belongs to that basketball team. That's an analogy I want to use. But if you're a sponsor, you are a sponsor, but you do not run, because this really is about history, about who we are as our culture. Yeah, it's great to have some healthcare stuff there, but that's not the focus. The focus is really.
No, and I think we can get, and that's a great point, Joseph, but I think we can get there. We get a grand open with their help, and that's when we start making our plan and we start having events, we start doing stuff. So it does look like our stuff going there.
But if you replay, a lot has been done or been said, it's always been driven by Healthy West Orange. And the doors haven't even opened. A lot of, it's great that they're doing it. I don't think personally, I don't think they should do anything first in there before us, before the town, before you have something in there to make sure that the town understands. When we did the groundbreaking, it was the town who did the groundbreaking. It wasn't Healthy West Orange who did the groundbreaking. This center is really the town of Oakland. I know Healthy West, like I said, I don't want to be repetitive, but this is not theirs. This is the town's. And then after all of us are gone, long gone, you know, our kids coming in, it's really the town's center. That's who it belongs to. That's just my thought, you know, it's great they're gonna be doing some great things. And heck, I'm all for healthcare events and programs. But the core of that center, to me, from my lens, should be about the history, culture of this town. And all the other stuff that jumps on board is extra to me.
Point taken. Point taken.
That's just my humble opinion, because, this was thought about and fought for years before before the Healthy West Orange piece was even created. This was something that you fought for a long time. We try to save it, the old White House, so you and I were talking about that tonight.
Yeah.
It is the old White House. It will always be the old White House for some of those people who love that place and love that spot. And I'm sorry, but that's all I hear is what Healthy West Orange is going to do. And I want to hear about what the town of Oakland is going to do. Because when people come to town, I'm going to see what the mayor said. She wants people to want to stop here. So I want them to want to stop to hear about how the train used to come through here, and the different pictures and the different cultures, and hearing the stories of the African Americans and the Indians and all the stuff they used to have here. Oh yeah, but also they do healthcare stuff too. Or they also do some art and some programming and stuff like that. But it has to be the history of this town, which we do. We haven't, this is the first time in a long time we're really telling the community about who we are. People, I was on a call today, they said, oh man, there's a lot going on in Oakland. Yes, there is. And that's gonna be one of those center points about what's going on in Oakland. Not about Healthy West Orange, about the town of Oakland.
And I will add that Ashland has just arrived. And so that's a point well taken, where we need to develop our programming from the Oakland side.
And we are, absolutely we are. We just need an opportunity to get this building open, and this is what has been presented. We can do it differently if you've got other ideas. This is just kind of something that come up in the last couple of days as far as a way to kind of get things kicked off and get started to honor those partnerships that we have and to move forward with the building.
I think that you and Mike have some conversations to have.
Good points to be made. Thank you.
Well, I don't think it's, I'm sorry, it's not about the partnerships. It's about the core of the building. The core purpose of that building. I mean, yes, they came and gave a big donation, but the core was always about our history. I mean, our history is scattered. We got history in Sanford. We got history down the street in Winter Garden. It's some stuff about Oakland and Dade City. We never had a house to do that. And that's what the White House was supposed to be. And that was the purpose. And we always are hearing about Healthy West Orange, or, they want to bring in the trustees. They want to bring people in to do this and that. They've given money all around this place. And it seemed like, to me personally, it seemed like they want to make it as this is their own place. It's not theirs. I'm sorry. I don't think it's theirs.
There's nothing to be sorry about, Jeff. No.
And,
But I do love that they are, very active. So let me go back to this. We talked about doing a grand opening as a town. That was talked about until COVID hit. So we were going to do a grand opening there before, and so I don't know why there's a switch to have them do a grand opening when we always talked about doing a grand opening. It was even asked, can I provide music? So we were always going to do a grand opening. I don't think they should be the one who's leading a grand opening on something that's on the soil of Oakland soil. I don't think so.
Why aren't we doing the grand opening ourselves?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Commissioners, if I could jump in a little, I think I could maybe clarify. It would be the town's grand opening, and it would be a day-long event. We just needed to break up the sponsors into different time slots throughout the day. So they would be the first, it'd be their trustees, and they did ask if we could do an opening video featuring their trustees and the commissioners. So this would definitely be town and commission driven, and it would be the town's opening event on that day, if we could, if it worked with all of your schedules. We just don't want 100 people, 200 people coming at the same time. So we were hoping to break it down with commissioners and Healthy West Orange trustees, and then later Orange County and United Arts Alliance and Orlando Health, kind of coming in a staggered schedule over the course of one day. So if I can answer any more questions, please let me know.
It goes back to what Commissioner Ramos just said. How come we're not doing a grand opening? I'm hearing this is a Healthy West Orange grand opening, and then we're gonna stagger throughout the day. They are driving the conversation. They are driving the train. It should be, you know, to me, from my lens, it should be one grand opening. If you want to break it up with the town.
Well, then let's look at the format this week and work something like that out.
I agree.
I think that's what Alicia was trying to,
Make it
that it is going to be the town's grand opening.
kind of opening, grand opening.
That's not what I'm typing in.
I'm sorry, I just got this information and I was
Right.
trying to convey it because of the January 30th timeframe. But it is something that our staff's working on. Our staff's going to put it together. It'll be, they'll be the ones that set it up, and it was just, the conversation got started as this January 30th date.
Okay, so we've got the feedback. So
Absolutely.
Steve and Mike have some work to do.
I was gonna say this week, let's sit and we'll talk about, I think the question is how it's gonna be presented and how it's gonna be advertised.
But it also goes long-term, because Healthy West Orange has been saying a lot about this center. And what I'm saying is, I want us to, draw the line in the sand that, starting, this is I want to make sure it's known now, this is not United Arts or Orange County or, Bessie Vanderlei or anyone else who, Sal Ramos, who gave a lot to it. It's not their center. They donated to this center for us to be able to present.
I don't think there's any question there, Joe.
But that's how, but if we replay a lot of the meetings or whenever there's any conversation about that center, it seems as though, I've only been in there once. And I've heard a lot about Healthy West Orange, talking about bringing in people here and coming through, and they're planning some different things. Like right now, they already got an event. They want to plan an annual event there. And which is great, but I think the town, before anything is put in there, the town of Oakland should have their stamp on it. But long-term, this has to be a town of Oakland center as far as how it's presented. I'm telling you, the way I really feel as though that this is their center and we're just the host.
Okay.
That's how I feel and I'm not talking about based off tonight. I'm talking about off all when I hear a lot of stuff being talked about, they're gonna have staff in there, which is great. They got a social media person just for them. That's great. There's so many things that they're doing themselves for our center. That doesn't happen other places. I don't see that happen other places when you have major donors involved. So I'm talking about I'm talking about setting the precedent as far as how we present. This is the town event. This is the town. It's not HAPCO, it's not United Arts, it's not Sal Ramos. This is not Healthy West Orange. They are the major sponsor, but this is not their center.
Got it.
This is your baby. The school, came from Mary Vanderlei. We all know if it wasn't for me, and of course now, Kathy, you guys, y'all put it together, but that was his baby. That's why we brought Ms. Vanderlei to the party, because we know that was his baby. He wanted that to happen. It was his idea. Of course, there was a lot of sweat and equity that was thrown into it, but we all know that school would not be there if it wasn't for Mayor Vanderlei. That center would not be here if it wasn't for you fighting for the town. So it's not saying it's your center, but it is still the town's center.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
we will reconvene on this.
I appreciate you guys listening. I really do.
All right, no problem. All right, Steve?
Couple other things. We got our CARES Act reimbursement from Orange County. We got almost $49,000, what we submitted for reimbursement.
For what? I'm sorry.
CARES Act.
Oh, okay, well, that's awesome.
FDOT funding for the roundabout. I went through the 5-year work program for the Department of Transportation, and our roundabout is fully funded for construction.
And the pain is only probably not even half over yet. The construction of that will be as painful as the planning.
So we're pretty close to being at 100% plans with all the comments taken care of. Then it's in Orange County Court to work through the agreement with the state.
Who are you working with in Orange County? Who are you working with in Orange County?
A whole bunch of people.
Okay.
Yeah, Public Works, right away, Renzo, there's a whole list of people.
Okay. So Renzo's still in the mix. Okay.
But anyways, we're working through, they've got a project manager that we're working through on getting the design finalized. But we're looking at next fall for that to be under construction. We also got, they let us know through FDP that we've got an additional $550,000 coming for the sewer, the septic to sewer conversion project. So it brings the total funding to close to $1.6 million. So we haven't gotten the grant agreement on that yet, but we'll bring that.
Yeah.
We'll bring that.
And was that, where did we get this from?
FDEP. So we've got St. John's, FDEP, and CDBG money.
So this is for that one,
The sewer, the
Project.
sewer conversion.
so not for the other parts.
No,
That's awesome. And this will help us understand what we have to do when we start converting in other parts of town.
yes. And then the last thing, there was a tree over at the Hull Island development that had to be taken down. We did get confirmation from an arborist it was dead, most likely from the construction and from the water. But you know, they did spend an enormous amount of money trying to save that tree as required by the town. You can see the well on the wall that they put up to take care of that. We're working on getting a plan from them. They're going to plant some trees in the open space and probably another tree in that area.
In the area or in the same place where the.
Well, I don't know how all that's going to work, but they want to make sure you put it in a spot that'll thrive. So
It would be nice to put a new one there in the same spot.
I think they have that plan, but as long as they put it in the right place, you've got the roots and everything of the old ones.
I drove by the other day, it looked like the water table was so high there that it probably drowned.
Yeah, I think that might have been part of it.
Yeah, you don't want to put it back where it'll die again.
If the retaining wall was there, it was not the height.
I think they're going to use it as a community amenity. So they'll come back with a plan that we can react to.
They spent an enormous amount of money trying to save that tree.
And the last thing I was just going to mention Tri-County League. I'm sure the Commissioner McMillan would like to talk about that, but the meeting on January 21st, that'll be here at the town. And that's all I had.
Question, you're talking about trees and I meant to ask, the tree next to Public Works, that huge oak tree, was that tree bad, sick or something?
Yeah, I believe they got it.
Yeah, the homeowner made the decision to take it down. He's been talking about it for 4 years. You know, he had several arborists look at it and he decided to take it down. It's hard to tell just how bad a tree is. It had some bad spots on it. But when you take it down, you find out how bad it is or isn't. And it doesn't appear that it was as bad as he thought. But it was his call. And that's.
And to make the point, the reason he could take that tree down without us issuing a permit or having a say in this is the state of Florida overruled us or what mandated for the state what the rules are for these trees.
So he
If the tree's on the property of the homeowner.
He did have an arborist.
Not our property.
Yeah, he did have an arborist.
Conclusion on the tree.
I'm sorry?
What was the conclusion that the arborist said about the tree? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, the conclusion was it was a species that was declining and it needed to be removed.
What kind was it? What
Live
species?
oak. It was I'm pretty
Was it
sure.
was it that oak that looked,
Live oak?
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. It was-
they don't even have to,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't even have to talk to us about these trees.
But that trunk was like this big around, it's huge.
I just want,
I didn't see
I
any
want to
rock
know
spots
why,
on that
because
trunk.
my wife, when she drove by, she was heartbroken, wanted to know why. And to see if there's anything that has to do with what's going on with the trees, because I have two big trees and I don't want to lose them. Kind of know.
Yeah, and I think Parker was at the tree, like when I moved in here 30 years ago, that tree had been cut off at the trunk. And then it sprouted like new
Well,
branches and grew again.
yeah, and that's why determining what species it is from my layman's term, I'm no arborist by any means, but it had the appearance of a multiple trunk, many things.
Yeah.
You know.
It was cut off. There was.
That's right.
A lot of the tree that had fallen down in the past 4 years. And that's why he was worried about it. He didn't want to fall in the road, didn't want to fall on the house or on public works. So it was his call. So he took it down.
And that's the state of Florida over, they mandated, we have nothing to say. As long as an arborist says it can come down, it can come down. And they don't even have to tell us about it.
That's sad.
I know. That's not a rule that I like very well, and I don't think anybody here.
I'll find out what
Likes it
species
very well.
it was and let you know the next meeting.
Yours,
It's like a live oak.
here's a live oak.
Correct.
At one point, it was a live oak.
Brown, it's huge.
Yeah, well, the one I have
And
is
I didn't see any
two I have are
spots in that trunk at all.
200+ inches around.
You know, Rick, that tree was half the size of that one I had to take out on the side of my house because it was too close.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Half the size.
Wow.
That made me sick, but all those years ago, the house was built and it was told, like with mine, they actually built that house around the tree back in the 70s, like you could tell by it. So now it's coming under and it started cracking my wall.
Years?
My mind is 77, my house was built and they actually built that bedroom to the side. You go to the back wall, it makes a jut and goes again. So that it could have got around that tree back all those years ago. And no one ever thought it's the bowl of that tree is this far away from the house. I would have to go to the side and I'm a skinny guy, to go between the house and the tree.
I don't know how you determine how old the tree is, like once, unless you cut it, right?
Well, you can take a course.
Yeah. Mine was 150 years old, they said.
Yeah.
How?
150.
Wow.
They couldn't determine that until they took that slice out of the middle of it.
I would be willing to bet that at least the one tree on my property is well over 150 years old.
I wonder how long the ones.
If not both of them.
Anyway,
But anyway, when I moved to Oakland, that tree, it looked like somebody took a saw and just sawed off all the limbs, sawed it off at the trunk. And it grew, started growing limbs, and the next thing you know, it looks like a whole tree again. So I've never seen that before. But it is, if an arborist says that it can come down, state of Florida mandates that they're allowed to be removed.
But in their defense, those lower limbs did have signs of deterioration, rot. And they could have been removed rather than the whole tree. But you don't know that until you take it.
And
again, it's
unfortunately, all the arborists that do that are associated with,
With tree.
that's how they make a living, by cutting down trees.
But if they're reputable arborists and a reputable company, they're not going to recommend taking your tree down. They're going to recommend you take care of it and trim it. But if they're reputable, and these arborists are certified.
He had a reputable arborist. He is a state certified arborist as well as a tree person.
okay.
No,
But I just wanted to complain about the state of Florida, sorry.
on the record.
All right, Steve.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Parker, at your own risk.
Oh, man.
Sal?
Just to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank God all of you guys are safe, healthy, and thank you.
Let's try and stay that way.
Happy holidays. Oh my God.
Mike?
Just a reminder, and Pam, if you want to add anything on the school, we are done with the virtual school as everyone comes back to school, and it went fairly seamlessly. We had, a couple that didn't quite understand it until Pam and her staff had talked to them, but everybody's okay. And we will have everybody back in regular face-to-face learning when they come back to school. Right, Pam?
Yes, that is the plan. We actually have quite a few of them coming back next Monday, with a few hanging on until after the holidays due to medical concerns and needing to quarantine. So we're plowing ahead and
I'm sorry, you've done a remarkable job of keeping the germs down over there.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
impressed.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, and that's all I have.
Joseph,
So we had the board meeting today with Tri-County, and because of all the spikes and the corona, we're gonna have it virtual.
oh,
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Florida League did, you know, when Tony was sworn in as the president of the Florida League, we did a virtual as well.
did Orange County do virtual today?
I was at the dentist.
Pardon?
I was at the dentist.
Oh, that might have been more fun.
She did Orange County do it
Did
today.
they do virtual, Rick?
I have no idea. I didn't watch Orange County's today.
Didn't you say you watched it?
Yeah, it was virtual. Well, it just came up, I don't know, it was Facebook or whatever, and I just turned
But
on.
could people attend? I mean, I got an invitation, but I didn't pay any
Was it
attention.
live?
Yeah, it was live, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do the swearing in, we're gonna have to tape it. And so Karen's gonna, is she talking to you or Lynn?
With Lynn, I think.
Okay,
I was gonna say, somebody better talk to Lynn.
yeah, so we're gonna try to tape it, and I want the mayor to swear me in, and then I'll probably have
Okay.
Pamela there
All
as
right.
well.
Just let me know when.
So we gotta figure out a date.
You bet.
So what we're gonna do is tape the swearing in, and then when we do the January 21 meeting, they will just put the tape. We'll still have the January 21 meeting virtually, you know.
Mhm.
They will probably play my portion. That's how they did it with the Florida League of Cities. When Tony was sworn in, so it was supposed to be in Hollywood, but so wherever he was, Mayor Dyer swore him in, and then they taped it early. They did it sometime about a week or so early.
Just give me notice so I can look pretty in my mask.
And we gotta figure out, do we have the technology here to tape,
To video?
video something here?
Alicia?
Alicia?
Yes, hi. I'm not really sure about the technology. That's gonna have to be a question for Jonathan, but since we have cameras, I will assume that we can record.
Okay, let us know.
And the Tri-County said they will support financially if we don't have the technology, they would get the technology for us, because they were gonna do the same thing in Winter Park when Winter Springs, when the other person was out for it.
Alicia, we can work together to figure this out.
Okay, sounds good.
And then connect with Lynn, because Karen and Mariah.
Yeah, we'll see what their expectations are as far as the,
So really, the taping is really for the mayor and I, figure out when we can do it. Then if we can't do it, you know, we could talk to them and see how they can help financially.
But Mayor, I don't know what you're asking me, but no, there's no outside intervention, you know, anybody talking other than,
No, what I was asking was, did people attend in person?
yeah, there's people in person, you know, the families were there, because the families got up on the stage when they got sworn in. And there's maybe some people in the audience, they didn't show the audience too much, and there had to be some other people there, but there were a few there, and they swore all three. It wasn't that long. I mean, they did it pretty quick, all three of them. I think probably like 30 minutes.
Okay, but it wasn't a big crowd.
I don't think so. They didn't really put the camera out there. It just, when the commissioners got on stage and got sworn in, their immediate family was able to get on the stage with them. And
Okay. Just curious.
thank you, Rick.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching that.
They popped my phone too, but I was at the dentist, I'm like, oops, I forgot.
Well, like I said,
We're having more fun.
you had more fun.
Yeah. And then my last point, I'm not blaming anyone in the town. I just, you know, I'm really, as far as the center, I'm really just want to impart on us. I really want this to be ours. That's all. Because, you know, we really don't have anything. We never had anything. And that was the center of that was the heart of who we were. You know, that was, you know, the Easter thing, the Christmas thing. And so, I'm not saying anyone is wrong. I just want us to say, hey, this is our baby, and I want this is something that's gonna be here for years, but it's coming from
We got it.
the town. Yes, I agree. By no means am I blaming anybody that does anything being done wrong.
Mikey and Steve will work on it.
Commissioner, I agree with your comments.
So that's all it was.
No, you brought up good points.
And they are great partners, and we want, of course, they're gonna do some great things there, but, all right, I'm done.
And we just need to make sure we
One more
we
statement to make.
honor our agreements with whoever we have agreements with. So, but it is ours first and foremost.
Yes, absolutely.
So anyway, anything else? We're all good? Oh, yes, ma'am.
I didn't get a chance to say, first of all, thank you for the approval of the plat. And I just also wanted to thank Jay Martyr and Jeff Richardson for all of their assistance to get us to this. It's phenomenal working with your staff and the collaboration that they do to make Oakland Park so special, and obviously for the town. So I just thank you all for the support.
Thank you for telling us that. All right, so Joseph,
You done finished?
I'm done.
Oh,
I don't have anything.
I told you you had something more to say.
all hearts and minds are satisfied. It's now 8:17. 8:17.
Hey.
Go take a quick picture.
Yes, can you give me 1 minute?